Hopefully, everyone's doing well. Welcome to the MAGIA Mindset. Today's guest is an agent, a FIFA representative as well. He has co founded MASCA Football. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome our guest, Mostafa Tarek. Roll the intro. Mustafa, it's definitely 2020 has been a unique year to say the least. It's been a year, I think, in our sports community that has been challenging in so many ways. I truly appreciate you putting the time in your busy schedule to joining us on our podcast.
Thank you, Shawn. Yeah, I'm so happy to be in the podcast with you today and looking forward to say my story and to say how I started to become a football agent and to build up my company and giving some advices and knowledge to everyone who wants to jump into the industry.
Fantastic. Perfect. Right off the bat, if we can dive into your journey of how you got into the world you are today as a football agent and how it all began.
Well, first of all, I became a professional football player when I was young, but it didn't end up to play in the top leagues and top clubs, etc. So I always have a passion for football. I always go to the stadium when I was like 7 years old, and I support my club till the end. So since too many years, I have a great passion to football. I basically studied engineering in Egypt, where I'm from. And then I decided that no, I don't want to work in this sector because I always have the passion to football. I always want to go to the stadium. I always want to watch the matches. I'm like getting to see the notification every time or every minute there is a match. I feel that I'm so into the football, and they said, no, that's enough. I have to work in my passion. From this day, I decided to go to Spain, which is basically the mother of football. And I decided to study over there. First, I studied marketing, and then I started to study Masters of Football Marketing and Management. And then I studied another diploma for fan engagement in FC Barcelona. And yeah, here it started from everything from scratch. And also, I started to volunteer first. I was a volunteer at the World Cup 2018 in Russia, and then I started to work with UEFA and FIFA in more events, like more as a freelance. And then I started my company. And here is the story. It actually started not as a plan. Like I didn't plan to start the company. It came out of sudden. So basically, when I was studying my football marketing and management over there in Barcelona, I met an Egyptian player, which for me, he's one of the best players that I had ever seen playing football. And then he had an injury, and then he had difficulties to enter some clubs. And for me, was like, this guy, he's really so good to play in any league. Why he can't play in some clubs like the top clubs? And then it started from here because I started to help him getting inside some clubs. It was so difficult to communicate, especially I was not speaking the language fluently at this time. And the communication with the clubs in Spain is not the easiest at all, because of the language, because of the system. At the end of the day, I'm not an agent, I'm not an agency at the beginning, so I don't know how this kind of stuff works. Of course, I have some background, but it's not like an expert to know how to deal with the clubs, with the players, etc. So I managed to put him in a club. It was not the best for him, that it was a lower division that he was expected to play. But then after I started to manage him, or to manage to move him to another club, which is basically promote him in a different level. And then from this club, I met the coach over there. He was from Argentina, and then we started to talk that we both of us have the same passion. He also came from a football family background. He started his business with this club in Barcelona, etc. So we have like the same passion but different projects. He wants to build up his club, everything, and I want to build up my agency or to being an individual agent. And then we started to share the connections together. Like he told me, look, I'm looking for a player, for example, number 9. Do you know anyone in your country who wants to come to Spain to play here or from different countries? And then I started to say, okay, let me search. I'm going to see how can it works. And then I started to contact my colleagues in Egypt or my friends that they used to play football with me or different clubs right now. I'm searching for a player number 9. Anyone wants to come to Spain, maybe we can do the visa for him to come to study first and then he can play football. And then things works like this. I managed to get him the second player and then a goalkeeper, and then it started to work like this. And the connections, of course, I think that the best thing that anyone can do, especially in this job, is the connections. Also, the institute that I was studying, the football marketing and management, helps me a lot with the connections. These guys have really good contacts and they were helping me with like different lawyers, clubs, advisors, experts, everyone. So I was learning every day how to get inside the industry, how to manage the transfers, etc. And after the Champions League 2019, which is what in Madrid, I managed to be one of the organizers at the final, and it was one of the best days in my life. And then I get back to Egypt. I remember that everyone was talking about that this was a great success for me and everything. I met one of my friends and he was talking with me, telling me, what do you do in Barcelona, etc. I started to tell him. He said, listen, I have a good friend of mine. He is doing actually the same as you, but he was a football agent in a big company in Spain for more than 5 years. But now he's here, so maybe you can do something together. I said, yes, why not? Let's meet. So I met this guy, and I don't know how, but we have the same passion. We work at the same country. We have the same goals. We want to build the future in this area specifically. And then he became my partner, and we started this agency called MQF. So this is the whole story.
No, that's a fascinating story. It's very unique of how things get begun, and especially in an industry where back in the day there wasn't this much agency, there wasn't this much agents working. At times, you had to probably, as a player, represent yourself. Now you have scouts, you have agents, you have someone going into negotiation with you on your behalf to properly negotiate a deal that helps you have a bigger and better career long term. So it's so huge what the football players have in today's game that it wasn't accessible back in the day. And I wanted to kind of dive into that. How do we, in your opinion, if someone is young, let's say for parents or kids that love this game, they're so passionate about it, and they're at a prime age of, let's just throw out there, 8, 10, and the parent sees it, but doesn't have the education or knowledge. And let's just talk about the situation in America or a country away from Europe. So they're not in Europe, they're outside of Europe. They see their child has a lot of potential of being a footballer, and they don't have the knowledge of how to map it out. What are the steps to take? What is the proper coach to put around them? But also, what year are they supposed to put them in the right environment to get exposed? If we can walk the right processes of the ages to be exposed, what ages do you guys look for players to kind of start establishing if they have that potential?
Well, good question. So basically, let's differentiate between two different things, which is the most common problem that we face right now. There is always professional players, even when they are so young, and there is semi-professional players. What is the difference, and how can a semi-professional player reach up to be a professional player? So basically, that's what we do in the company. What we do is we have these two different projects. We have the professional players, which is they already have a good content. They have the transfer market. They have everything ready to be promoting in a different markets. And we have the semi-professional players. So what we do with the semi-professional players, or what is the advices for the parents that we can give on how can they care about their children and let them become a professional players. So basically, most of the players think that they are a professional players, even if they don't have the top talent. But when they see themselves playing like an average football or a good football, they can see, I'm a professional player, and I can start to go or like travel abroad to search for an opportunity or something. And this is a huge mistake, because you need to start in your country first. You need to study which country are you going to. For example, if you are going to Spain and you decided that you are searching for an agency for someone that you know in Spain, it's not that someone he will put you in a contact with the club and then you can go for the tryout, or it's not working like this. Because if you are not ready 100% for the tryout, then you're going to lose the opportunity and you cannot access this club again because your name was already being there. So that's what we do exactly in the agency. We prepare these kind of players first in their country, like we give them sessions, like, okay, you are coming to Spain. So do you know the language? Do you speak the language? This is the first thing. Do you know how is the football working over there? It is more for talent, tactics, or more physical? Because it's different in UK, it's different in Spain, it's different than Italy, it's different in Belgium. Every country has a different system. What is the career advices that you have to know before going to this country? Are you minor, under 18, or are you able to play? Because there is many players also, they are 17 years old and 16, and they think that they can go to play abroad, and they are not aware about the FIFA regulations for the minors. Who will represent you? Who will talk with you about your profile, about your content? Who will promote you with the club? Who will tell you which market fits you better according to your video or according to your style of playing? So basically, I have to tell the parents it's not about finding an agent or finding an opportunity just to go abroad to let your son play. It's that knowing the market that you are going first, educate your son on how football is going, because now football is not just talent, it's an education. You have to understand how things working, how is the market that you are going, your style or your football in this club, how the clubs works as well. Very good education nowadays also is about the nutrition. We have many players that they are really top talents, but for example, their bodies is not like that qualifying here in Spain or the European markets. So they have to be aware of the nutrition. This is the first advice that I have to give to them. Hire for your kid or your child a nutritionist to take care of his meals plan, his gym guidance. Many football players, they have a wrong mentality about going to the gym to put a heavy weights, and they think that they will have more muscles, which is going to help them in the football pitch, which is totally the opposite. The more muscles that you have, the less that you can run. So care about the nutrition of your children, care about the mentality. This is the most important. Nowadays there is many footballers around the world, they have more talents than let's say any of the top players in the world, but they don't have the same mentality. And we have, for example, I'm going to say this example because I'm from Egypt, so let's say Salah. We have many footballers in Egypt that they have more talent than Salah, but why he is there right now and why they are still in their countries? Definitely it's 100% the mentality to be disciplined, to be dedicated to the training, dedicated to the gym, the nutrition, to listen to your coach, not to take wrong decision, to be trained with a good coaches, to educate yourself, to search in the internet to see what can make you better, to have a goal, a clear goal and a dream. And more than this, of course, is like to believe in yourself and to know that if you have a goal, you can reach it with the hard work. So basically, this is what Salah is doing right now and what he did in the past. Like he has the dream, he follow it, he take the right decision. Sometimes he took wrong decision, but that's how he learned, and he learned from these kind of decisions, and he approved it. So yeah, it's not just like I want my son to play in Real Madrid or Barcelona, or I want to let him go to Chelsea or Liverpool. It's like a lot of effort and hard work beyond this.
No, that's so important, and I think some people, when you don't layer it away, they see, oh, Messi's in Spain, Salah's in England. It's just easy. I just got to get there. Their path was you fly out there, you show up. I'm good. I can make it. And it's so important to understand, like, it's not only playing on the pitch. Do you know how to speak the language? What is the culture? You might come here and you might be lost in the world that you're entering, and it might be 180 different than what you expected. So that's so important, Mustafa, that we kind of touched on that. And we were touching based on the mentality, the mindset. And part of the thing we get on this podcast is talking about the mindset. And I wanted to touch base a little bit more deeper on that. First, to talk about your position, because you are where you have established yourself at an elite level. So you are working with players and professionals like yourself at the highest level. And as much as sometimes some of average people think they're working at the highest level, they're not behind the scenes of what it is. And I wanted to dive into that. What are those traits you see on the mentality part that we talked about, discipline? But I want to dive in even deeper. What is it that makes the tip of the arrow, those elite of the elitist, different than the rest?
Yeah, that's the most important question that we are facing every day, because now we have some players that they already came to Spain. So let's say some of them are suffering and some of them are not suffering. And why? And what is the difference? So basically, it's again all about the mindset and about the mentality. And especially the Egyptians, they have a lot of successful stories like Salah, like Trezeguet, like many other names that they are success to play in the Premier League and in many countries and top leagues. And they have to take these people as a role models for them. They have to understand what these people have done in order to follow them. So basically, as we said, like, let's talk about Spain because this is where I work mainly right now. Most of the players that they are coming here, they are aware that here the language is the only Spanish language. Let's say 80% of them, they don't focus on learning the language before they come here. And when they came here, they faced that the coaches doesn't speak English, coordinators, presidents, CEOs, like everyone in the club doesn't speak English. And then they started to face the problems. I want to learn Spanish. I want to see. And then when they started to learn, they didn't even have the passion, like to fast in the process or to move forward to another level and to start to learn. Because this is something very important. They have to know that if they are really dedicated to something, that they have to put the structure and make everything clear in front of their eyes to reach the goal easily. So let's see, one of the most problems that I had ever seen is the language, of course. The second point is the obsessing about the big names. There's many players, they come here and they only thinking about Barcelona, Real Madrid, Villarreal, Atletico Madrid, and they just want to, like, like they want to jump the stairs. Like, it's not the same. You could be a very good player in Africa or in any country in America and Middle East, but when you come to Spain, you have to understand that this is a different competition. The competition in Spain is one of the highest competition in the world in football. So you could be playing in a top club in your country, but that doesn't mean when you come here you will play at the same division, you will play at the same club. And this is a problem that we are facing every day, because Most of the players, they come here, they say, but I'm playing in the first division in my country, why I can't play in Sevilla here? Yeah, because it's not the same level, and there is many competitors for you every day. They're working in their mindset, working in their language, working on their training and nutrition, like everything. They are trying to development faster than you, so if you didn't cope with this, you're gonna lose the race. So this is a really important point as well, the club's names. So the success stories here is the guys that they focus on this and they understand that they cannot jump the stairs. So you have to start by the lower league. Let's say a guy who started in the fourth division, and then he work on his training, he work on nutrition, he work on like being so patient and being so strong on the pitch. Like he know that there is a lot of competitors around him. He wants to like success the race. He wants to reach his goal as fast as he can. So these guys usually are the most success stories because they know and they understand how is this is working. And also this is could be one of the jobs of the agents. The agent is not like I'm taking money in order just to bring you a football club. No, it's not like this. It's a lot of huge and effort around this. At the end of the day, this is the final step to reach to put your player in the club. This is the end. But where is the whole process from the beginning? They need to work in the mentality of their players. They need to let them understand the market. They need to let them understand that, okay, listen, if you are playing in Morocco, in Egypt, or any country in Middle East or in Africa, that doesn't mean that you will come here to play at the same division or the same level. You have to start by lower and then going up one by one until you reach at the end. So it is very important that the players have to understand this.
No, that's so important, so vital in having that mindset and having the understanding that there is a pecking order and there's a starting point of where to go and what level you're going for when you go to a country like you like we just talked about Spain. As much as we think it's just going in and being from the top, there is a stepping stone, and sometimes we have to be open, and that's why having the right age of going in is so vital, because that's where you know where the progression's at. Because someone, if we talk about 25, 28, they go in from a different division, they play top flight, but it might not be the highest in Spain, it might not have international experience, and they're trying to build from third division at 28. By the time they're trying to get to a first division at 32, first division is not going to be interested in that, because unfortunately they look at you as an investment, and as an investment, they, you know, not having years under your belt at a high level at 30 and stuff is showing to why is it taking this long? Where was it before? I want to talk to that, and you having your agency and your business in Spain. What are the qualities you are looking for specifically when you're trying to, let's say, represent a player, when you're trying to bring a player under you? What are the key qualities you guys are looking that for you, you're like, you know, we like that. He has everything. Age is perfect. Size is perfect. Technique is perfect. He has the quality of what we feel is gonna help us help them get the position we want in fully representation.
Well, the thing is, as I told you before, we have different projects. So we have a semi-professional project and the professional one. For the semi-professional, it doesn't require a lot of like bullet points or requirements. It's basically we need a good player, a player that he is willing to travel and to reallocate. He is willing to study, to focus on his studies, because we offer also beyond football, not only football. So players have to come to Spain. They have to study here in a university or a school, depending on their age. They have to play football, to be dedicated in the training, not to going around football or training, just to be dedicated and focus on the training, etc. So basically, in this kind of project or players, we look for like average player or a good dedicated players. It doesn't have to be they are top talents. They could be normal talents, but they are dedicated to football, because we have many stories like this. we bring here, or we brought a like average player and the success to become a professional players. And this is the idea. This is how we work. Like we took the average player, work with them on their like body, nutrition, structure, football. We enhance everything and mentality until they become a football player. So in this project, we don't require like too many or like a huge talent. We require more the mentality, like that they are want to focus and they really want to reach the professional one. For the professional players, this is the most important. Like usually, what we have is like you have, of course, like the platforms like Y Scouts, like Insta Stats, and everything like these kind of platforms. So whenever we receive a video or a content from a player, we have to look at the statistics of his matches, of like how he performs, how he perform, or what was his performance in the last season, for example, what is his numbers, etc. Because here in Spain also it is different. It's not like other countries. When you try to talk to the some clubs and you send them the transfer market or the video of a player, they might like him, they might say okay, let's see, etc. But here in Spain they always ask for different requirements or more requirements, let's say more. So basically, if they like the player from the content at the beginning, they want to see his full matches. They might ask to go to watch him live at a big competition, like, so let's say AFCON or a Champions League or something. So it's not like just they saw the video and hey, let's have a contract with this guy. So that's basically, we look for the professional players. We need a player that he's so active right now. He's playing. He has a good statistics. He's not just a player, and he's playing in a good team. He need to have a good number of statistics. Of course, if he's a national team player, it's much easier for us to start to promote him. And like mainly again, his mindset, his mentality. When he is moving to Spain, he need to understand that he is going to face a new challenge. It's a new goal, a different career, a different future. It doesn't mean that he came from a big club in his country to even join La Liga here or second, third division. That means that he's going to success so easily. No, it's going to be a really hard competition. And he will see a lot of competitors around him. Like every time he fall down, he need to stand up quickly, so quickly, because there are many people are looking at his position at the same moment. So if he is not aware of this, and like many people want to take the opportunity that he have, he will not be a successful player. So basically is the requirements are around this, like a good content of the player willing to face a new challenge, willing to be a part of a good club, and he's willing to develop and enhance his mindset, enhance his abilities, performance, everything. So yeah.
No, it's so important, and sometimes we tend to forget of um, all the criterias people look at, and especially in today's game with so much technology, you can't get around the system. And I think before, maybe make a VCH tape here, it was harder to find it. The statistics was harder to find. But now people require, hey, you sent us a highlight video. We like it. We want more. I want to see full content. Is he playing actively somewhere? And even if they're 17, let's say he's 17 and he's not a professional player, has he represented his personal national team? If he's not on the national team, why is he 17 not broken into the national team in his own country? I think those always raise red flags, because I think you said it, Mustafa, earlier on. Some people want to move to go to Spain, but you haven't even done a national team in the US or something. What do you think that your chances are higher in Spain? And people forget that Spain is way even, like, it's the level is even enormously higher. And if you want to have plans of that, you should be in the top 5, top 2 in your country to even have the idea of going in the top tier of that before building up. But then, like you said, there is situations of age and opportunities that if there's going in there at the right moment, there's chances like that being taken. I want to kind of transition now on the business side and behind the scenes of what it looks like when yourself is negotiating the legal stuff. If what are the criterias of kind of, if you can walk us through of what it looks like of negotiating a deal with a club, the transfer window, in that whole process of you identifying a player. I think we talked about the qualities you're looking for, but some people forget all the stuff you guys are doing behind the scenes that we're not seeing that goes in to becoming an agent. And it's harder than it actually is said and looks from the outside in.
Yeah, good question. Good insights as well. There is a lot of work and a lot of efforts, a lot of steps are doing behind the scenes, which is people doesn't understand it and doesn't know about it. They don't understand. They don't know what's going on behind. So it's a good question, but let me, before I step into this question, just I identify something. Um, why is a player should have a football agent to start to promote him in the clubs, and how is football agent working nowadays? Because this is very important and many people they don't understand this. So basically from 2015 the FIFA were out of being giving the license for the agents, and they give the freedom to the association or federation to start to issue the license. Until this moment, that's what is happening. Like if you want to apply to be a football agent, you have to go to the federation that you are working for or your country and say, hello, I want to be a football agent. And you do the exam, you pay, and you get the license. And from this moment, many problems started to be created over there. And then that's why FIFA said again, okay, Football Federation will be out from this year, again from the license, and then the license are going back to the FIFA again. So FIFA just launched a new platform. It's basically like the DMS. It's going to be more for the contract, for the transfers, everything between the club, the player, and the agents. It's not launched yet. It's on the way. Like I think by the summer, everything is going to be done. So from that moment that FIFA will launch everything related to this system, all the agents that they have a license from their countries or from their federation are going to like forget about it. I don't know how FIFA will do this exactly, but what I know is that they will have to apply again at the FIFA to take the license to be a FIFA agents. And that's a good point also, because it's still till this moment many people are trying to take the license from the FA or from the Spanish Federation, for example, which has no sense at all right now. So this is the first thing. The second, what is the service that the agent offer for the player and why he should hire an agent? Like from outsiders, people thinking that the agents having a lot of money, like driving fancy cars, and it's like this is the image about all the agents. When you tell someone I'm a football agent, he thinks that where is your Tesla car? This is true. This is a fact of what happening, but it's not like this, because people always think that it's a very, very low effort and a huge amount of money. So they are thinking that what basically the football agent's doing is like, hello, I have a player, he's striker number 9, I want to put him in the club, let's set up a meeting, okay, done deal, and I took my percentage, the player started to play. It's not like this. So for example, in the FA, there is more than, let's say, 3,000 agencies are officially registered in the FA. In Spain is the same, more or less more than 2,000. Does anyone know the names of these people? Of course, no. You just know the most popular, like Riola, Jorge Mendes, this kind of, that they manage the top players. Because how they reach it up to manage these top players? They have been working for more than 20 years to reach up to work with this kind of players. So people always think about the top agents that who manage the top like players, but they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Because of this, there is many investments in the players. Sometimes the agents are paying a lot of money to invest in their players. Sometimes they work with the wrong players because they believe that this player is very potential, he's promising player, but then, for example, an energy happened to the player, and he's not going to continue in football, for example, then you lost all your investment. You tell him a wrong advice, he's not going to continue in the football career. At the end of the day, you are dealing with a human. Like, it's like the mood is affecting him. So if his mood is not good at an important match, he can lose his whole career, and you can lose it as well. If he has a very bad mood and he has a very good match or important match, he goes there and he perform so bad, and he might leading his team to be out of the competition or something. Then you lost the player, you lost your effort, you lost your investment, everything. People doesn't know this, so they always think, as I told you, that it is like normal that the agents have this kind of life. No, it's not true. So the most danger, or let's say the most dangerous things, that when you are dealing with human, because it's not a machine at the end of the day that you can perform it as you want. No, it's at the end of the day, this is a player. He has responsibilities, he has family, he has friends, he has children. So many factors and aspects around this are affecting his performance. So let's go to the also be like the question which most of the people ask it: what is the agents operate, or what departments of the top agencies that they used to have, what is the service that they provide to the player in order that they reach, that they can close the deal in a transfer market, a transfer window, or something like this. Most of the top companies, or the big agencies in anywhere, they should have a social media team to perform with the agency, with the player, to manage everything. Not everything can be published on social media, especially for the players, because they have image rights, they have legal rights, they have many things. It's not just I'm a normal human and I can upload anything I want in social media. No, it's not working like this. It should be someone legal who advise them what you should post and what you should not post. Should be a commercial department who is organizing everything. For example, a player that you are transferring in a new market or a new club, you should know who is the sponsors of this club. Is it going to be a conflict of interest with his image rights, with his conflict, with anything? And this is a very important point. I will give you an example about Salah as well. There was the announcement or the ceremony of the best player in Africa, which is Mane, basically got awarded about this last year, and it was in Egypt. So imagine this kind of ceremony in Egypt, and we have Salah, which is one of the top players right now, and he doesn't go to the ceremony. And many people doesn't understand why and what happening behind the scenes in order to make the agent of Salah, or Salah, decided not to go to this kind of ceremony. It's basically one of the reasons is because of the commercial like issues. Because, for example, he has a deal, or he's like the ambassador with one of the telecommunication companies. So it's a conflict of interest if he is going to a ceremony, and this ceremony has the competitor of the telecommunication company. But of course, the guys in the federation, they know this. They know that Salah is coming, and they should know that Salah is the ambassador of this company. So you cannot make a deal with another competitor, and you want Salah to just uh, holding the price or something on the background is a totally different company. It's not working like this. So this is some also stuff behind the scenes that people doesn't understand, and they doesn't know that being an agent is not just doing the deal. No, there's many things related to the commercial, legal, image right, everything. Also, scouting department. Big agencies should have a scouting department in different marketing. They should know who is the potential player in Middle East, in Europe, in America, in Latin America. You know, it's always good to have a different eyes in different marketing. PR and image right teams is one of the most important, of course, in the company. The endorsements, sponsorships for the team. Like there is many things, and some agencies also they don't do everything in house. Sometimes they outsource companies to do this kind of services for them. One of the most questions also that people usually ask me, what is the service that you provide to your players or to the top players in general? What kind of service that top agencies provide to top players? It's basically going behind the contract negotiation, wealth management. Many people they don't know this. So there is many people they have a lot of businesses around the world, like Cristiano, like Messi, like Salah, like Pogba, many players. They are investing in commercial stuff and real estate. Do you think that the player go by himself and start to make the meetings to have this kind of business? Of course, no. His agent or agency, they should have an outsourced company, or they should do this in-house to manage the wealth management of the player. Career advices is one of the best thing, which is a different school. There is some agents, which is not basically the agents. Let's say the like some top players, they don't have agent, but they have a lawyer or a sports lawyer. Basically they don't advise them a career advice on football. So for example, if the player said, okay, I feel myself I'm fitting in this club more, I'm talking about the top players, like the top 10 or 20 players in the world. Sometimes they said, okay, I feel myself is fitting more in this market or more club or more this team because my football style is going to fit more there. Then at this point, the sports lawyer, he don't negotiate with the player about this, he just work on this plan. But it's different from the agent. The agent, he can negotiate with the player, he can tell him, no, listen, I don't see that your criteria fits this club or this market because of this and this and this and this, and this is also different thing that people doesn't understand about this. Off-field assistant, endorsement, marketing, promoting. There is many services that the players taking around this, like services with the top players. Uh, and yeah, one of the things that we also always talk about it. As I told you, that the players usually come from the Middle East or from Africa and thinks, okay, I think maybe in this transfer window, I can go to this club, even is playing in a better, like in a good club. And when you start to talk with the clubs about this, you might be a very good player in any Arab country or in any Gulf country, for example. But that doesn't mean that in this transfer window, you have to be at the same division. You could go to another division, you could go to a different club, lower level, lower division, and then step by step, you can go there. So yeah, this is basically how things work with the players.
No, it's so fascinating to have different perspective of it. And it kind of, I think, ties into anything we do in life, any business we do in life. I think you were talking about Riola and stuff of how they have the top players, they deal with a lot of the big times, but because they've been around for X amount of years. Any company you start out at beginning, you're never going to get the best things coming your way at the beginning. It doesn't always work like that. Sometimes you might get lucky, but not always. You have to put in your due. In anything you do, people might look at it like you said from the outside, beautiful cars, everything like that, but it doesn't start out like that. There is a part you have to go through in every field you work at that has got to go like that. And I loved how you touched on the human being. I think sometimes we forget when we're watching a lot of people on television, we forget the human being part. And I think in the end of the day, let's take away professional football player, agent, lawyer, owner, businessman. Everybody's a human being and we're all connected. That's the most common thing everybody in this world has is we're all human beings. And I think when you have that part, that's the respect even though we're doing business and stuff. I think that goes a long way in relationships of how they become even stronger. It's the way, flat out, we're good human beings. When we're a good human being to someone, I think that shows that we're going a step further. And it should be the normal thing. But a lot of times we know that when we work at certain things, like we've heard stories of agents that get someone from Africa, they come there and they didn't make their team and they left them. And now they're out in this country, no team, no job, no airplane ticket to go anywhere. And they're like, what happened? It's, this agent was trying to set it up. We didn't know who he was. He was trying. There's so many stories that work. So I loved how we touched in on that. I wanted to kind of have a little fun question before we start closing it out. Is we do this with some of our guests. We like to ask two-part question in kind of understanding who they are within the game. And the two-part question is your favorite player of all time and your favorite team of all time. And the reason I say team, it could be any sport, player, it can be any sport, because we want to kind of go back to your memory lane, your childhood team. I think everybody that goes and touches based on this usually goes back to who they admired as a child, because that's what got their love in the game. So quickly, and if you can, quickly touch base on why is he your favorite player of time or all time, or she, and then why is that team your favorite player of team of all time?
Very interesting question, and my answer has been the same since long, long years. It's basically Messi.
Mm.
Messi is the ideal for me. Like, he's the best athlete I had ever been seen in my life. He might not be the best, like dedicated or something like many people. They always compare Cristiano and Messi, and they always say no, Cristiano is a hard worker, but Messi is more talented. It's true, but again, now in football, it's not about being talented. If Messi have the talent only and he doesn't work on it and be dedicated to the training, to the matches, just focusing on his goals, career, everything, he's not going to become Messi. There is many talented players in Argentina and Latin America and everywhere like Messi. But if they didn't work on this, they might not become Messi. Messi has been inspiring me for long, long years. And a funny story that, as I told you, I was working or volunteering in the World Cup of Russia. And the day before the match between Iceland and Argentina, I just know, like, at the night that I have a shift the next day and this match, and I will be working from the field, which means that I'm going to see Messi, like, face to face. I didn't sleep at this night at all. And I was thinking just to tell him, first of all, I know that he doesn't speak English and I do speak Spanish. So I was preparing a whole long text about what I was going to say to him. I know it's not like this, but it's like, this is something that it's very tangible. Like, it's not something that you have to prepare, but the night before, like, simply I don't sleep to prepare all this word. Like, Messi, I have been moving from Egypt to Barcelona to watch your matches in the stadium, which is true, because one of the things that inspired me to move to Barcelona is to go to the matches every week and see Messi playing live. So I was going to tell him this. Listen, I know that you hear this kind of stories every day, every hour from people that you might see them in the street or anywhere, but this is the truth. I have been moved to Barcelona because you inspire me. You're my role model, everything, and I just want to see you play. And I saw him in the tunnel, like the players go out from the lockers room to the pitch, walking beside him and Di Maria from the tunnel to the pitch without saying one word. Nothing. Nada in Espanol. So I was not, like, I didn't believe that I'm seeing Messi right now. And that makes me, like, silent. Till the match started and they go out, I didn't see anything. I mean, that was enough for me, just to see Messi and walk beside him, and that's it. So this is my my story about my idol or football player. Let's say my favorite team. Do you mean in my country or in Europe?
Anywhere of all time.
Well, of course, I'm a big fan of Liverpool, big fan of Barcelona since I was young. But my favorite country or my favorite team is El Zamalek club.
Mm.
It's the team where I get raised in my country. I used to go to the stadium when I was almost 7 years old. I was like inspired by all the players, but the way, the method that they play football, they were playing the best football in the country. Maybe not the best results, but for me, they was the best football. It's I don't know. I always feel that they have a different way of playing. Like the players, we always have a good talents. We always have a like playing a totally different system of football. It's like Barcelona. You know, when like Barcelona fans see that Barcelona is playing the tiki taka, so they always say, "Yeah, we are different." I feel the same with my club, El Zamalek. I always feel that we are different, we are unique, we are like not playing football as anyone in the world. And still, till now, it's like inspiring me. I always watch the game every week. Always, if I have the possibility when I'm in Egypt to go to the stadium, I do. Like it's inspiring me since I was a child.
No, and Mustafa, that it's such great stories, and I appreciate you kind of being so genuine with it. Um, I think the Messi, um, even though Cristiano Ronaldo has really earned and it's probably considered one of the best players ever too. To me, it's funny because this other player, Ronaldinho, was also Messi's mentor in a sense. And to me, they go hand in hand. Even though Messi, career wise, has broken everything and he's done it in unprecedented times and has really surpassed a lot of players. I think if you pick two of Ronaldinho's best years at his highest and even Messi's at his highest, just on brand, image, for any kid, I think those two were different. For like me, if I was a kid, or even in in my teenage times or something, Ronaldinho was something special. It felt like not human at the time. I think Messi for a lot of these generations, it's the same thing. There's something, there's a aura of specialness around them that I think they were born to come in this world and put a smile on a lot of people's faces when they're playing this game. And I don't think a lot of players can just do that when they touch a ball without scoring. When they just touch it, it puts a natural smile. And there's only a few, I think, in the history that have done that. And it's when you were talking about that story, I think a lot of people would just be in that moment like that, and that's special. And I think it's funny that we're talking about it, and I think we're reaching the final years of it, and I think a lot of people should know to embrace it and enjoy what they have of Messi left too. Talking about your team, I wish we can get that more in the US. I think that's one thing that hasn't been established. It's culture. Culture. What you were talking about, your team in your hometown is is beautiful. And I think in the US, even if I talk about Iran, we go there, it might not be the highest level in the world, but the love and culture everybody has for their city teams, it's important. And we still don't have that for football here. I think they have that for basketball, certain sports, but we're trying to grow that here. So I appreciate that. I want to kind of give the platform to you to close us out, to have to kind of talk about any projects you have going on, any platforms you have going on that you want our audience to be aware of, to kind of help them be guided to enhance our beautiful game. So I want to kind of give that floor to you to kind of close our dialogue up.
Well, I have nothing to say right now. I just would love to help everyone that who wants to become a agent. or just to enter the sports career, I would love to help every or each single player that he need advice, career advice, or anything that might lead him to be a professional player. That's what I'm doing right now. Actually, I'm trying to see what's behind why is in our country, especially why is Salah over there right now and there is no any other Egyptian players at the same
Mm.
level. So what I'm doing right now is trying to educate the young talents and bringing them to Europe to change the mentality and working in this project. And I have a project like in the future I want to have like three, four like more of Salah, like this the same image. So yeah, hopefully let's see. And again, I will be so happy to help anyone, and anyone can reach me through any platform that I'm being there, LinkedIn, Instagram, my email, anything to help anyone with this.
And Mustafa, I loved how you said, I have nothing to say, but that was one of the most important messages. And a lot of aspiring players that want to hear is there's a lot of talented players out there. And I think in Egypt, in Morocco, in Iran, in a lot of these countries that, let's say, are third world countries, that why are they not producing more? When I was in Iran, I'm like, oh my God, some of these players are better than some of the players in Europe that are playing, but they're missing the boat because there's too much greed, there's too much corruption, there's so much that where they, if they leave it and go in there at the right age, right time, they can land it. So I think what you're trying to set up with the projects is huge. And I think it's exciting to see what um, your projects do for the next generation. So it's huge. And it's been honestly an absolute pleasure to have you on this episode to discuss the beautiful game and to kind of talk about what happens behind the scenes in one of the most important parts of our game, in the business side of it, and how things get done to allow these players to go out there and perform at their highest level. So again, thank you so much for putting in the time and joining us on this episode.
Thank you so much, Sean. It's a pleasure for me to be here and looking forward, as I said, to help anyone over there. I really enjoyed today and looking forward for the next one.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Mustafa.